Welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. Decided I'm going to do another abstract, or what artists like to call non-figurative or non-objective, but I'm going to do something like I did a few weeks ago. Right here, this was supposed to be completely abstract, no subject matter, and then at the end I thought it would really be nice to have some very dark accents in it. So I decided to put something in that you would not certainly see in this kind of setting. I have some very dark birds flying around a very weird, shouldn't say weird, it's not weird at all, I like it, a very abstract painting. And that's what I think I'm going to do today, is I'm going to do one that's not going to have subject matter. It's not going to be like my suggestion series where something shows up, I kind of go with it and add things like it. I want to try to keep it totally non-objective. And then at the end, I'm going to put something that would not go with it to just have contrast, just have opposites going together, because I was real pleased with how this turned out. I like the way the abstract turned out, but I think the accents make it especially strong. So I'm going to take that down right now because I certainly don't want it to get ruined, and start on the next one. And I want this one to be very complicated, so I'm going to use different size brushes, lots of different color, different techniques, and if I have to spend time off camera, that'll be fine. But I don't want to do something that is, well, I don't want to like bleed some colors together and just let that be the result, because that always looks really nice. I want to get it really, really complicated. I want it to be music without words, but music with lots of notes. Since I'm a professional musician too, and I play my piano every day, that kind of language makes perfect sense to me. I'm starting off with a medium-sized brush, and then I'm going to get a smaller brush, but right now I'm going to do this for a while. And as I said before, there's no way to explain what I'm doing. It just comes for years and years of practice, of reacting to paint, of learning techniques. It's not really something you can really explain to people. It's not something that you can really teach. But I call these demos because I'm demoing what I do, but I'm not really teaching anything. But certainly anyone can try this sort of thing. They're not going to get the results like I get because everybody's different. Everybody's going to respond to colors differently and get a different painting. But as I've often said, this is the sort of painting you like because of the way it looks, or you don't. You don't have to. But it's not a matter of, well, wow, it's a horse. I love to look at horses. Or it's a ballerina. I love to look at ballerinas. I don't. You don't. This kind of painting, it's music without words. You either like it because of the way it looks, or you don't. Just like music that doesn't have words. I certainly have heard people hum certain pieces of music and they weren't doing any words. And I like it. It's just so much, as I've said, so much easier to explain these things in music. And since I have such a strong musical background, I do like to do that. And I do get paid to play the piano. So I am a professional. Not going out there on tours or anything and not playing all the time for people, but I am a professional. This is what I mainly do though. I have artwork in 32 states now and 7 countries, and my artwork marches on because that's what I do. And I will do it till I can't do it anymore. Like I tell people all the time, I hope when I die I'll have a paintbrush in my hand. If you studied art, you probably know that Auguste Renoir just kept going even though he had arthritis and was in a wheelchair. And people said, how can you do that? Because he strapped the brush to his arm. And he said, it's not in my arm, it's in my head. And that's what I love about art. So I always liked it more than music. It really is in your mind, and you can use just about anything. I know people that don't have complete use of their hands that can make great art. And that's the wonderful thing about art. Okay, getting a lot of interesting things here, but I want to do a whole lot more. I may be using my hairdresser, good grief. Boy, things you say on YouTube is because, you get nervous. Even though there's nobody here, you still get nervous. Hair dryer. I may be using that so that I can get to another stage and make it even more complicated without it getting all muddy. I do want some meshing of color, and that's what's happening, and that's probably why I will have to probably use my hair dryer, but we'll see. It's always great to just use color. It really is. The thing is that a lot of people don't understand, and I can't explain to them, is that even though most of my paintings are landscapes of the beautiful Blue Ridge and surrounding mountain areas, I'm actually doing the same thing when I do that, because it's never a matter of reproducing the photograph for me. It's always a reaction to the paint and the color as I put it down in a way that is unique to me. So I know it's hard to understand. I'm pretty sure most people think it would be very hard to understand unless you paint, but it really is all the same. That is, I don't expect people to understand that. I know when I had a teacher that said that, I thought he was out of his mind, but it really is. It's all very much the same. It's all colors and shapes and textures, canvas, piece of paper, whatever. Yeah, I'm getting this pretty complicated, which I'm glad to see. Even though I haven't gone into another layer, it's getting pretty complicated. I think I ought to get another small brush pretty soon, or I'm going to repeat myself too much. I don't want to do that. And I want whole notes and quarter notes and eighth notes and 16th notes and staccato. I want it to really have a lot going on. Lots of times when you get a tremendous amount going on, a lot of artists like to call that busy. Well, I personally think usually it's complex, not busy. Yeah, there is something when you kind of overdo it, a composition is busy, but I prefer to think of this as complex. Okay, it's still wet in some places. I don't think I'll use the hairdryer yet. I am going to get a much smaller brush, and I'm going to use more white now. I pretty much was using the colors pure without any white, and now I'm going to see what happens if I can do some interesting things by using a whole lot of white and going over top of it. I wanted to do a lot with swirling lines in this one, which I haven't done yet. So I'm like, oh yeah, I do like that. Yeah, I think that's very nice. So I want to do that. Should be interesting what I decide to do at the end, what I'm going to accent it with. Don't know. I might like this so much it's going to be hard to want to change it, but I am. I have definitely decided that's what I want to do, so that I have something that is opposite. Or, I don't know if the opposite, completely contrasting to what this is. Because this really is music without words, and I'm going to put some lyrics that don't fit the music. Or, to me, don't fit the music. I know this sounds so weird. Or it should, unless you paint, it should sound really strange. Real pleased that I'm getting more and more people watching my YouTubes. It's really nice. Because that's what it's all about for me, to have an audience. And to get these into people's homes and offices. I want my work to be around. I'm not here anymore. And, oh yeah, it's getting pretty complicated, that's for sure. Yeah. At this point, I'm going to have a little bit of trouble really getting the vibrancy I want. Colors are starting to kind of mesh together so much, so oh, there. Well, no, maybe not. That's really working. Yeah. Great thing about this type of art is just pure reaction. That's why a lot of people call it pure art, and I think a lot of people misunderstand and think that they mean it's better. Well, maybe some artists do. I don't. I just think it is pure art. It is a reaction. There's no simulation of anything. It's just it is a intense reaction to color and texture and spacing and all the things that all artists do, but there's no distraction working on any form. How long have I gone here? Oh, not very long. So that's good, but I still might make it short. I like the way this side is playing off of this side where it isn't really broken up. It's always good, as any artist knows, to have lots of contrast in any kind of art. We all know that. I always love it in sitcoms and any kind of theater when they have very contrasting characters. That is so much fun. I think everybody can understand that. You have two people that are so different and how they play off of each other, and it works so well in comedies. I can think of many of them, like that Sheldon character in The Big Bang. Oh, come on. Having him around is wonderful. He is such a great contrast to the other characters. And that's probably why his character became, well, I won't say the star, but it became the dominant part of that series, of that wonderful sitcom. Okay, I'm getting a little staccato now, so I can get even more complicated. Of course, as with any painting, it's also kind of hard to know when to quit too, because you can ruin this too. You can overdo it, what artists say, overwork it, just like you can any other kind of painting. So that's always tricky. I like the way there's a little accent right through there. So I think I'm going to get the little brush out again and do a few more dark accents, but I don't want to get too dark because that's what I'm going to use to put in the representational shapes the way they look. Not going to be detailed or anything, it's just going to be like a silhouette type thing into it. But I really like that. So now I put it there, I'm going to put it somewhere else. Balance is a real tricky thing in art. And yeah, that obligated me to put it somewhere else too, or it's just going to stick out. And focal point is one thing, but you don't overdo it. Okay, now I'm not real crazy about that. I think I'm going to add a little yellow and maybe not have it quite that dark, or just have it dark in places. Yeah, I like that better. Wow, this is really getting complicated. And I still like the way that is like that, but I think it should maybe come up a little higher. So I'll get that other brush again. But I'm having trouble getting the vibrancy I want. Let me see. I'm sure this makes all kinds of sense. You're just sitting and think, oh yeah, that's what it needs. Oh well. I love what I do. And I like to try to explain it, but you really can't. You can sort of explain it. Okay, now it's pulling that area more in because I wanted it more of a circular motion, and this one up here is kind of cutting it off. And I don't want that. Maybe pulling a little bit on this way area too. All right, now it's getting to the point where like, oh, what do I do next? I'm going to lose what I've got. Do I want to add more? This is where it gets really hard. And this is also a very hard part about finishing my oil paintings. You get to this stage where like, oh boy, it's really got a lot going on to it, but I could do some more, but I'm going to lose what I've got. And that's where you really have trouble. But one thing I don't let art do is drive me crazy, because I love it too much. I could see how it would, easily. I can see how people can let it turn into a jealous lover, and that's all they do, and they just go nuts over it. Not me. I like it too much. I'm not going to go crazy over it. Just going to keep at it. Some are better than others. Some are not so good. But they're all mine, and they're all very, very important to me. Okay, I feel like I need just a little more staccato. See, maybe I'll use the pink in with the red. Oh yeah, like that. That's working real good with the green. Yeah, this is really definitely one of my more complex abstracts. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to quit early into it. I wanted to really push it and go further. Okay. Still not happy down there. And I do want to play those areas off, but it's just not quite working. So, if that makes any sense. It just isn't quite working. I'm not sure what to do. That's what art is all about. I had a teacher that said it's tote, test, operate, test, exit. That's a nice way of putting it. I think there should be one more: test, operate, test, exit, go crazy. No, don't really mean that, but yeah, it is. It can really get to you at times. Years ago, It really drove me nuts. I think age helps a lot because you don't flip over it so much. I have destroyed so many paintings, and I'm real sorry I did because they weren't good enough. They were just crummy. And they were too. They were fine. They weren't awful. But that's, youth. There's a wonderful line in, oh God, I can't remember the author's name. Oh, I hate that. But yeah, come to me later. In a wonderful short story where two characters were talking about age. And the line is that age is like having the measles. I mean, youth is like having the measles. You're uncomfortable, and it's difficult, and you're uncomfortable to others, but you get over it. And that's not a perfect quote. But I just love that line. I said that to my dad one time. He thought, oh, that is good. It really is. I love all art. It's just all fascinating to me. I love every bit of it. I've said before, if I had the time, I'd pursue them all. It's all fascinating. Some people are just like that. I certainly am one of them. Okay, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to probably be hurting this. It's getting real. Oh, yeah, I did want that, though. Yes, I really love to use that blue-green to snake in there. Yep, there we go. And make even more accents. But there are some muted areas, and see if I keep doing this, I'm going to lose those. So I don't want to do too much. I think I'm going to have to quit soon. I really like some of these areas that did bleed a little bit. I kept the paint pretty thick so that wouldn't happen. So I wouldn't say, oh, look at that dreamy area, I'm going to quit. I wanted to really make it complicated. So I tried not to do that, but it happened anyway. Just some areas, and I don't want to mess that up. And now I think this is okay. It's not exactly what I want. You never get exactly what you want. Like I always told students, work hard, you get close, but you are never going to get what you want. That's just the way it is, and that's what keeps it interesting. You keep learning and you keep progressing. All right, now I don't know what I want to put over it. It's going to have to be very dark, just like I did with those birds, because this is pretty complicated. I might take a file of this, put it up like this, and then do the other one, because I really like how this turned out. Not sure. Anyway, thank you so much for looking. Be sure to click on the link, which will be at the top of the description, to see the final painting, and then there are links to my Etsy shop, my Wix site, all kinds of stuff. Thank you.